Welcome back to this week of Beanie and Cardale, Cardale and Beanie. Oh man, what a show that we have planned for you guys today. But first, before we dive in, we got to thank our partners, Raising Cane's, the perfect comfort food, the perfect anytime food.
Oh, for sure, man. You know you can't beat no Kings any given time, and definitely like a time like right now when we're both kind of quarantining ourselves
Right.
and kind of trying to stay COVID free. You can only imagine how much Kings I got over here right now as my camera's turned off.
Man, so first and foremost, we are obviously doing a show remote. So that's why you guys don't see us right now. My daughter got COVID. So obviously, throughout the whole house, I'm on this quarantine type deal to where I can't leave and go anywhere. So man, that's been brutal as heck. Uh, bro, sitting in the house, not being able to go out. And especially for me, because I'm one of them people, Cardale, man, I gotta be on the go. So to be
Yeah.
locked down to the house, man, is awful right now.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. And especially like you said, I know that you're a big time people person and other things you got going on in your life and want to make sure everything is running as smoothly as possible. But now you got to do that from the comforts of your home. But I've been to your house, a few times now with the show and developing pretty much a friendship with you outside of growing up watching you play. Don't want to make you feel too old. You can be stuck and locked down in some worse places other than the nice covers of your home. So you're lucky there.
That's for sure. That's for sure, man. But let's dive in real quick, man. We some news came down the pike that you and I have been talking about for some time, and that's Urban Meyer and him potentially taking the job with the Jacksonville Jaguars. That happens.
Yeah.
I guess we wasn't really shocked because we obviously have been talking about it, but I still kind of had that shock feel that it did happen. I mean, when you speculate in certain things and for them to actually come to fruition, they're two different things. I like the situation though. The more and more I got to thinking about it, the more and more, you know, I was thinking about Urban Meyer and kind of him stepping away from college ball, doing the TV deal, but who he was doing TV with, that was Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, and Brady Quinn. It made me think like, man, maybe they kind of got into Urban's mental, and maybe Urban's going to be one of those guys now to where he can relate more to the NFL type player because he was working with these guys the past couple of years. What's your thoughts on one, Urban taking that gig, and two, Urban, what he's going to be able to do as far as transitioning from okay, I'm this militant guy dealing with college kids. Now all of a sudden I gotta switch my mental state because I'm dealing with pro guys now, so I can't treat them the same anymore.
Yeah, for sure. And I think definitely being around NFL guys, working with them, throughout the college football season with Reggie and those guys definitely probably had some type of impact on it. I'm pretty sure those guys were reminiscing and talking about not just their unbelievable college careers, but their pretty good NFL careers as well. And I'm pretty sure Coach Meyer was picking their brains on how is it different from the players. And he has unbelievable relationships with a lot of great NFL coaches, Belichick being the main one. And a lot of things that he used to do in the summer when the coaches go away to pretty much almost vacation or kind of pick other coaches' brains. Uh, he spent a significant amount of time up with the Patriots. So we should do some of the things that they used to do to a certain extent when it came to discipline or team building or building a program. And I feel like that a lot of that things that we did, that he did, Belichick did at that level, wasn't too far off of what Coach Meyer already was doing at Ohio State. But I think this is a great situation for him as well. And it's a situation for him to really sit back and not sit back, take a step back to his coaching approach. Because like you said, you're dealing with professionals now. And I think that's a challenge that he is looking forward to, a challenge that he's willing to take. Because like you said, it's just different. You can't do certain things on the college level that you would do on the NFL level. And you can tell he's taking that approach because of some of the guys that he's bringing on. He's bringing on, from my understanding, a lot of guys that got a lot of NFL experience. He's bringing on a lot of guys that he's had experience with already personally, who he believed can make this transition, starting with Anthony Slagle, getting those guys bumpy in the weight room. And it's just going to lead to off the field excellence, and it's going to lead to production on the field.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about it, man. I thought it was super dope, obviously, to bring Slags onto that staff. We know Slager was, on the staff at Ohio State for a number of years. Then obviously bringing Ryan Stamper and making him a part of that staff, I think that's going to be huge. And in terms of getting Urban to be able to relate to guys a little bit more, because it's one thing to be around some NFL guys for a little bit, working on TV, but to actually be there day to day, you're going to need people around you that can kind of help ease that transition. And I think those are two guys that certainly will be able to do it for him. So if you're Urban though, this is a situation, and they haven't really came out and talked about it as much, but you got to think that he probably has a lot of control from a front office standpoint. I know they hired Trent Baalke, but they did it after they did after they hired Urban.
Yeah,
Traditionally,
and that's
they go out and
so.
hire GMs first.
Yeah, exactly. And that's so uncommon for you to hire a head coach without the GM first. So, and I could only imagine Coach Meyer having some type of impact on, the GM and maybe with that interviewing process and that, and that handful of guys that they were looking at to hire as a GM. So to see that just confirm what I think it confirms to what I thought, that he will have to have some type of a bigger role in the organization just in the head coach. And I think that him and the GM is going to be, working hand to hand, because you don't usually get that in a lot of situations, especially dealing with, professional football, professional sports, period. The GM can be one guy that have his own ego and ultimatum and goal for the team, and the head coach, it might not line up with the head coach and coaching staff. So hopefully down there in Jacksonville, that situation will not occur. And it's a situation that you see with a lot of other successful programs, organizations around the league. But man, I'm definitely, and I keep saying it, I'm definitely excited for this opportunity for him because he's going to shock a lot of people.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I think you're gonna do a hell of a job. Number one pick. They got a lot of money to spend. I know first and foremost, though, as soon as they start having workouts, man, they better be giving my dude Cardale a call because it'll
Oh
be
man,
it'll be a match made because you already know the system. You know what he's
which
doing
wait,
from
but
an
wait,
offensive standpoint.
I don't know what system that, because I haven't heard anything about his football staff, his coaching staff yet. So I don't know, and that's going to influence, what type of system that he's going to run and implement into, his program, into his team. So I don't know yet. All I know on defense, I heard Chris Ash, the guy that he worked with Ohio State, is coming on defensive staff.
Right.
No clue what role, no clue what anything about that. But I haven't heard anything about his offensive staff yet. And best believe I've been keeping an eye on it.
In my mind, I think I don't think it would be much different than what he ran at Ohio State because if you look at it, we've been seeing that RPO, those spread offenses, already in the league. You can go back and you look at once Andy Reid had got to Kansas City, um, Alex Smith started having his most success running that RPO spread type offense. You go
Mhm.
and look at in Seattle, and they're in the spread type offense. You look in Arizona, they're in that spread offense. So I think the offense is already that he ran in college is already taking effect in the NFL, and we're already seeing teams be successful running that spread kind of run and shoot type deal of an offense. So if that's the case, if they are running the same offense that they did at Ohio State, Cardale should be the first. You should be the first guy you get a phone call, anyways.
Call
For
your boy. Yeah, call your boy. And it's funny because I was leading up to the whole week of, Coach Meyer, the buzz started getting bigger and bigger. And, leaving from Miami for the next championship game, I had a chance to speak with him and things like that. And just, pick his brain a little bit before the decision was final with him and the Jaguars. And I haven't called him yet ever since it's been official, but he can expect a call from me after the Super Bowl. Hey, how you doing? Yeah,
right.
what time? When you want me to come out and work out?
100%, man. What's crazy as hell, though, man, is the fact that you know when you look at Urban Meyer and the teams he coached at Ohio State, how many of those guys are still in the league right now? And
Mhm.
not even just at Ohio State, but at Florida. This dude, he coached so many cats that are in the league currently, um, and now he's obviously getting a chance, to be an NFL coach. I know cats are going to be chomping at the bit to try to, get down to an Urban Meyer football team because they understand one how you're going to be coached, and then two, the success you're going to have because you got a guy that's held in such high regard at the helm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what intrigue guys to any program or any coach or any player or anything. You want to go where success follows this person.
Right.
You want to go to a place or play for a coach or work for an organization that they are proven. The track record speaks for itself, and they having success everywhere they've been. And that's one of the guys, out of the few guys around of the sporting world and especially football. Urban Meyer is one of them.
Yeah, man, definitely, man, definitely a dope situation. I could, uh, I could definitely see him having a lot of success. Um, obviously, like anything else, is going to be dependent on the quarterback that he decides to draft and the
Mm.
guys that he decides to put around him. But they got everything at their disposal. Um, and hell, man, I didn't even. My kids watch wrestling; they're big wrestling fans. So they watch WWE and they watch that new AEW. And I
Mm.
didn't know Shad Khan owned AEW until recently, man. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that'd be a
Man,
great situation for somebody to go down there in Jacksonville. Maybe you can put a dual sport type deal.
oh man, that's funny, man. Reminiscing back on my XFL time, that brief time, before COVID shut it down. I had a couple of buddies that said made comments like that. What if Vince McMahon come to you and say he wants to be the next The Rock or the next big thing in WWE? And I was just like, man, I grew up a fan like that. It'd be hard not to jump on that opportunity. Especially seeing how those guys transition to life after WWE is pretty
Right.
is pretty cool to see. I mean, not to get off too much off topic, but in the shoe, think about The Rock, how he was pretty much the biggest name in WWE, WWF at the time, and one of the highest paid movie stars ever. He ain't getting out the bed for less than 60 million.
Right.
So that'd be pretty sweet. But man, from afar, I was always a fan of Jacksonville's front office, because you can tell the guy is putting in a lot of time, work, effort, energy, and finances to try to make his team better.
Right.
You look at the time when they had Blake Bortles and all the other guys they had, and they took the Patriots to the AFC Championship, yeah, and one game away from the Super Bowl. And this guy was just investing into his team, from the draft picks to the contracts to keeping guys there. I mean, he is from my perspective, don't know him personally, he is a guy that seemed like he want to do everything for the success of his program.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I think Urban Meyer decided to, go there, is because you do got a guy that's going to be willing to spend money on a program and on facilities, and that's key right there. When you
Mm-hmm.
look at attracting guys in the league to different organizations, um, what are your facilities like? What are
Yeah.
those going to be like? Are we going to have the top care? Are we going to have the top nutrition staff? And Shah Khan doesn't seem like he's a guy that's going to be afraid to scare money or spend money. Um, and I know Urban Meyer is definitely going to want those things and to be able to attract individuals so he can build a winning program.
Yeah, for sure. But another thing is a double-edged sword when it comes to stuff like that, because a lot of teams are not going to invest as much money into facilities that hey, you got the bare minimum, or we're paying you a lot of money, and you should want to take care of your body outside of this and not put the onus on us. But like I said, I don't think he's gonna take any shortcuts to helping Coach Meyer get and build whatever he needs to make that team successful. So, like, man, it's pretty sweet for him to have this opportunity. I know it's been an opportunity he's been eyeballing, and I know Coach Meyer, he wouldn't have jumped on this if it was something that he don't envision for long-term success.
Right. Yeah, super dope,
Man,
brother, man. Congrats to him in that situation. Moving along a little bit, though. I mean, let's talk about individuals coming back to school um, here at Ohio State. One of the players who was just mind blowing to me in their decision making to come back was Chris Olave. I just knew Chris Olave was going to vote, and I thought he would be, a mid to late first round draft pick. The dude is
mm,
unbelievable, has crazy talent, but he decides to come back. And when he made a decision to come back, it had me thinking, like, well, maybe he knows something that we don't know about the quarterback position. Because when you lose a guy like Justin Fields, you instantly, as a wide receiver, you're thinking like, all right, he's going to be gone because he doesn't know who's going to be throwing to him next year,
mm-hmm.
or he doesn't understand what that player is going to be like. But for him to come back to school tells me that he's impressed with something that we have on this roster at the quarterback spot, and I think we're going to be in good shape. What about you?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think we're gonna have any. I mean, it's hard to replace a Heisman Trophy candidate in 2 years in a row and a high caliber athlete and leader like Justin. I'm not saying these guys are gonna pick up right where he left off, but I don't think it's going to be a huge drop off because of one reason only, because of Ryan Day. Outside of these kids were extremely highly recruited and extremely, and this, knowing Corey Dennison and knowing what he got in that room, the quarterback coach, I mean, he's going to have those guys ready, whoever it is, to get ready and take snaps behind center, early September next year. Well, this year. And I think Olave, I definitely thought he would leave as well. But I don't think it's an aspect of like, oh, well, I know what I got coming back in the quarterback room. I think it's an aspect he know that he still want to work on his game before he take the next step to is no more turning around or, oh, I wasn't ready, let me go back to college type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think he figured that it was, things in his game he can get better. And I think he want to be the top overall receiver. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No COVID year, no nothing. I mean, think about it. The guy had to sit out a game because of COVID and not playing a full season and, not having an opportunity to win a national title. It's a lot of things that he probably want to get done personally and on a team level.
Yeah, man, I agree. And I think, or you tell me, how much do you think the cat from Alabama has helped a lot of schools and a lot of guys make the decision to come back? Because you watch him, Devontae Smith,
Mhm.
here he was last year, an afterthought, the number 4 receiver on that football team, or maybe the 5th receiver on that football team last year. He comes back his senior year. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, breaks all these records, win the Blitnikoff, so on and so forth. How much do you think that plays a role when you got other guys, other schools looking at him and saying, "Man, I want to be a chance to come back and be able to do something like that"?
You gotta be disciplined, and you gotta be. I think that's the number one thing. You gotta be disciplined. You gotta be confident within yourself because, like you said last year, man, the guy was, at best the 4th best receiver on the team, and and still going into the season wasn't really projected to have a great year as he did. Clearly, no one saw that coming because of Jalen Weddle. If he would have never got hurt, who would have been Devontae Smith?
Right.
We never heard of this kid. So I definitely think it takes a lot of discipline and the right mindset to not just up and vote from a university, not just up and transfer or just, trying to enter the draft out of nowhere. And he took the right approach and, he's going to reap all the benefits here in the next couple of months in the draft. And I'm excited for him and his next chapter of his life and definitely his career because, how great of a player he is. You just hear so many more great things about him on and off the field as an overall person, his character. And I mean, I'm happy for that dude, man. But yeah, he took the right approach, and shoot, I'm excited to see. Hopefully, Olave have a bit of that success next year.
Right. We both, man.
I mean, freaking Matt Jones as well. This guy was projected to get ran out of there by Tua's little brother, and then by that freshman Bryce Jones. So for him to stick around and put the work in, put the time, the effort, put the energy in to be the O'Brien winner and Heisman Trophy finalist and worked his way into the top top quarterback discussions and a first round draft pick. I mean, who was he last year?
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of this football and specifically college footballs. I mean, there's always going to be somebody next year that's been waiting in the wings, that's waiting to make their name ring around the country, and those are guys that are certainly no different from that discussion.
Yeah. Those guys are guys who are program guys who believe in the program, who stuck around, who trust in the process, and finally had the opportunity. Yeah, maybe Matt Jones. Yeah, it was only 1 year, but you made the most of it. And Devontae Smith. Even it's so crazy about Devontae Smith, and I keep reminiscing about his career his season this past season. I did not know he was the guy who caught the walk-off touchdown versus Georgia in the national title.
Oh, shit, I didn't either.
Yeah, it was him. When Tua came in as a freshman and replaced Hurts, yeah, and he caught the walk-off touchdown. I did not know that was him.
Oh, wow.
So he had an unbelievable college career.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna take a quick Canes break. We'll be right back. I need to feed my belly real quick and get some of in me.
If Raising Cane's secret cane sauce was the end zone, no one would ever lose a game. Crispy crinkle cut fries, touchdown. Buttery Texas toast, touchdown. Hand battered cooked to order chicken fingers, touchdown. Freshly made tea and lemonade, well, you get the point. Go for the win this game day with Cane's. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. One love.
Welcome back. We're coming back from our quick Canes break. Just had to give me some Canes up in me, a nice caniac and a swig of that sweet tea. We got some questions. Questions from Twitter, as always. This message that I have is from Antonio Gay. How does Olave's return speak to the culture at Ohio State? And do you think it tells the confidence? Do you think it tells about the confidence that he has in the quarterback room? That's what I kind of said a little bit ago. For me, when he decided to come back to school, it certainly made me think that, our quarterback room is in good hands, and whoever is going to be the starter next year is going to be a competent guy, and a guy that he feels confident enough in to be able to get him the ball and make plays next year. So certainly, and I think it speaks volumes to the quarterback room and the culture at Ohio State that guys don't want to rush to get out of here because you understand you're going to have opportunities to win and opportunities to develop under a great coaching staff.
Yeah, for sure. And like you think about all the quarterbacks, we had this question every time at the end of the season when one of our, decorated quarterbacks are leaving. Then you had it with JT. You had it with, Braxton starting there when he got hurt. You had it with JT. Then you had it with, what we're gonna do at the JT. Then Dwayne play. We're gonna do it at the Dwayne. Then we get Justin in. We're gonna do it at Justin. I'm pretty sure these guys on the roster are gonna understand the culture when you walk into Ohio State room as being a quarterback and the expectations. And you have no choice but to fall in line to meet those expectations and to play at a high level. So I think that possibly played into his decision of returning back to school and playing with, a good quarterback and another guy, and a lot of those guys in the receiving room is coming back. Mm-hmm. So I expect Ohio State not to have no type of real dramatic drop off when it comes to quarterback play. So, and maybe a lot of them think that too. And was like, hey, I'm coming back, stick around with these guys and have a chance to compete for a championship in November.
Yeah, no, man, it's gonna be super interesting.
So my question is coming from Beef Boy, the real Plumbus. Why was our defense so easy exploited this year? Do we need to make any changes pretty much on the coaching staff? And wasn't it a talent issue? So I think our defense took some hits this year because of one, we didn't have a spring ball to really implement some of the things Coach Combs wanted to do as a new defensive coordinator. A lot of the things they had to do, a lot of the meetings that they had was via Zoom. Putting a lot of onus on them as players as far as doing, drills away from the coaches and away from their teammates. These guys couldn't even, do things with their teammates.
Right.
And another thing is, like, when you lose a guy like a Chase Young, or you lose a guy like a Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa, or these really predominant pass rushers that we had over the few last years, you're going to be hurting a little bit. Our defensive line was good, but we didn't have that one guy that you knew that you had to double team, that demanded a double team and maybe a chip from the running back on every single pass situation. So it forced everyone around our defensive line as individual to try to play at a better level. Yeah, their guys were good, but was they a Chase Young? No. And that just opened up things on the back end because you're putting guys in coverage a little longer than they would like to be. So I don't think it was a coaching issue. I think I would like to see Coach Combs focus more on the back end of things as far as the DBs, because that's what he's the expert at. Mm-hmm. And hopefully my wish is that, Coach Combs and Coach Johnson be some type of co-defensive coordinators to take all the onus off Coach Combs so he can get back, like I said, to coaching his individual position that he had 6, 7, 8 first-round draft picks through. But I don't think it's a coaching issue. I just think that they didn't have the opportunity to install as the way they wanted to install, and miss that spring ball was a critical point.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't believe it was a talent issue at all. When you're talking about Ohio State, you're getting the best of the best. I do think it was kind of coaching. And, not to say that Combs is a bad coach, but like you said, when you don't have the correct amount of time in which you're used to having to put things in and put things in a perspective, it just isn't going to mesh. And I think that showed on Saturdays on game day when, we got defensive guys not being in position to where especially when we're used to seeing guys at that defensive back position be so good, and then kind of just see them kind of so laxed out there and just so, I guess, kind of thinking too much. Like they always say, when you think too much, you're going to play slow. And I think that was the case with our defense. I think especially in the secondary, guys were thinking a little bit too much, and that's due in part to the lack of time that they had. But getting away from that, I think this also had something to do with our defense as well. The fact that Ohio State, for the last 5 years in the National Football League, has had Defensive Rookie of the Year. Yeah. And why I say that's had issues, because when you lose guys like Chase Young, Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Marshawn Lattimore, the defense isn't going to be as great. And we didn't have one of those guys this year to come in and replace a Chase Young on the defensive line like we've been used to in years past. But boy, how impressive is that stat right there been? For the last 5 years, Defensive Rookie of the Years came from the Buckeyes. Crazy.
Yeah, for sure, and that just speaks to, like I said, the culture at Ohio State. The high caliber coaches that we have. I would never question that. I mean, I question some play calling, but I never question the coach as his ability and his track record are proven.
Right.
But yeah, that just leads, like I said, that just led perfectly in after our question of why did the defense was exploited, because you got a guy that just won defensive rookie of the year. It was an all pro who left as a rookie. So you're going to have some type of drop off that. But, just like we talked about with the whole thing with the quarterback position next year, yeah, it's hard to replace a guy of that. You put a lot of pressure on the guy behind, the guy who just left and just won defensive rookie of the freaking year. I'll tell you that right now. So it's hard to kind of replicate that production, but I'm pretty sure the Buckeyes will be in a better position next year.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think they will, man. I think Ohio State is going to be in great shape moving forward. I think our quarterback room, I mean, obviously that's a question that we all have because we don't know what that's going to look like. But, when you see the receiver like Chris Olave coming back and you see certain guys coming back, it definitely tells you they're confident in this football team that we're going to have. Anytime you got Ryan Day at the helm, I think you're going to be a competitive football team and in good shape. So, yeah, looking forward to it, man. Definitely looking forward to this up and coming season. Looking forward to spring ball. Hopefully we have it this year. Because that's always a telltale for how your football team is going to look, and who's going to be a guy that comes out of spring ball that becomes a household name. Typically, in years past, during the spring game, there was always a guy that balled in the spring game, and that translated into the season. You started knowing who he was, and he started making himself a household name. So hopefully, we get back to that this year.
For sure, and like I said, I hope we got some spring ball because there's a lot of new guys that's going to be around significant positions that need the reps. Corner position, quarterback position, in the backfield. I mean, we got T coming back. We're still going to need. They always say you need two good running backs, a pair and a spare. You need a pair and a spare running back. That's what they say, a pair and a spare. So I'm excited to see the new guys get an opportunity to tote the ball out the backfield. So overall, looking forward to spring ball. Please, COVID, let us have spring ball, and we have something to hype about following that leading up into September.
No doubt, man. Well, man, this was just a quick quarantine show we wanted to give you guys. We know we were a little bit late getting out. We had to deal with some technical difficulties. Yeah, man, I'm glad you guys were able to listen. Glad we were able to get it done. Even though we're not in person, we still got our canes.
For sure.
We're repping our partner all day long. Appreciate you guys for listening.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.